Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you very much. My name is Pete Cianelli. I'm a lifelong resident of East Haven, and I've known Lenny for some 30 years. Lenny knows how disappointed I am with this gun legislation, so they call it. However, Lenny, what I told you before, and I want to tell everybody here, is I'm a good guy. I raised money for ALS, for Special Olympics, for Down syndrome. I volunteer every week at my food pantry. I run blood drives for the Red Cross every month. I'm not a criminal, but what have you done in this bill that is going to stop a criminal from doing an evil deed? There is nothing. There is nothing in this bill. There are bad people that were born from the beginning of time. We can't stop bad. But the way I could stop a bad person, my wife will never be a victim of a rape. My daughters will never, my grandchildren when they're older, because they are proficient in firearms. And we want to be able to protect ourselves with everything that is possible to protect my family. You guys have taken that away. You have taken that away. If I have 17 rounds and there's 10 people chasing me, what happened? Oh, guys, stop, please. No, it's something that could never happen. I hope I never have to draw my weapon. I pray to God it never happens. But when it does happen, I want to be protected 100,000%. And I disagree so much with this, and like I said, the criminals are the winners today because they don't follow the law. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Bill Holroyd. I'm Wallingford resident, but I represent several hundred frustrated Rod and Gun Club members. The gentleman before me said it, a couple before him said it. As I look, and hopefully this is a general question that you can help me understand, because I don't understand how this is going to stop the Sandy Hook. And in lieu of just what happened in Boston, it proves that licenses, that permits, laws, rules are not going to stop anybody who wants to do something. Can you please explain to me what the mindset is of the people across the table from you in these negotiations and what their real agenda is? Because it's not what it appears to be. What is their real agenda, and where do you see it going from here? That's my question.
I can't explain for the people on the other side. I can't explain for the people on the other side. But as far as I'm concerned, as far as you saying this can't stop things and this won't stop things, as far as the criminals, there are things in this bill that prevent the gun trafficking. You might not, it's a big thing. It's not fair to you as far as your gun rights, as far as what you feel, but there is law enforcement money in this bill to go after illegal gun sellers, to go after gangs, and that's, I feel we have to do something as far as that part of the bill. As far as the other side, I can't speak for the other side.
Why are you punishing us?
Excuse me?
Why are you punishing us? Why not just
I don't believe I'm punishing you. That's your right, and I believe, and I understand your frustration. But many of your guns, all your guns are protected, actually.
why don't you stop the government from giving away illegal weapons?
Why don't you come up? Come up one at a time.
Before you do, I don't know what their agenda is. I think I know what their agenda is, but I'm not going to speak for them. I think I know what their agenda is. I think a lot of it's right here what their agenda is. And to suggest, and for them to suggest that anything that's here, or anything that's in the bill is going to stop gun violence in the city, that's just not rational thinking. Gun violence in the city is corporate takeover by street justice. That's what that is. And that isn't what I'm talking about here. There are some things, and you know, once again, please, I'm telling you things that just the way it is, and whether you like it or not the way I'm going to say it is the way it is. But we were upset, another thing we were upset about is that people who committed violent acts with guns were doing less than 85% of the time, which is what Dave talked about. They were getting good behavior, no matter what their violent act was, they were getting under 85% of the time. And the administration wasn't exactly telling us the truth on that. So we did a study and we grabbed every criminal record and went through, and people were getting out a year to 2 years earlier than what they should have under the 85% rule. So we said, if you commit a violent act with a gun, you commit a violent act, definition of gun, you must do 85% of your time. I don't care how many classes you went to. They didn't want to do it, we got it in the bill. We put a program that for 5 years, people who've committed an act with a gun are going to be followed for 5 years, which is a registry kept by the police department. So if there is something that these guys do in 5 years after they're out, they're going to be able to look it up and say, these guys are the gun register. They're not good people. We got that in the bill.
Why did these laws have to take back gun laws?
Because unfortunately, you can't get X unless you give someone Y. Whether you believe it's the right thing in that discussion. But the other side of the table said, listen, we want this, we want that, that's the way it happened. Now, if their bill said, Len, we'll give you that, but we'll still keep all these things in it, I would have said, no, that's a no-go. It's a no-go because Mossberg's out of business and this is going to hurt too many people.
I would have heard everything worse in this room.
Worse in this room. And they'd be arguing about, Pete Cianelli and others would be arguing that, Len, how come they're taxing all our gun ammunition? They're making us register every year. This is just a hidden tax to bust them off on us. Well, you know what? Yeah. So that's what we fought to try to fight against it. It is a tough issue. And I know people, as I said before, and I'll say it again, I know people are upset with me and I know people are upset with David. I know them. But this is the best we can do under the circumstances. And I respect those who still disagree with us and say, you should have voted no, let this bad stuff go through, and we'll see what would have happened. But even if you challenge that in court, I would suggest you'd be 10 years out before your resolution, and between that time, you'd be subject to the bill, in my view. Maybe I'm wrong. But, well, hold on. Sir, you got I know you asked some other questions.
To rebut on what you were saying, at the beginning of this entire conversation, you had said to us that you know the way the government works. If you knew, you said to us that all of this was going through, regardless of the situation, it was going through. What did you give them that could have possibly said that we're going to do this now? What could you have said that could have done this? Tell us how government works.
You sit
What?
down,
You're there longer, but I'll answer after you or before either way.
because you sit down at the table and you say, listen, go ahead, you want to pass that? That's fine. And let me tell you, and you start making your argument, and you start making them feel very uncomfortable. That's what you do with every argument for a bill. This is what we're going to say. This is how we're going to react. Now, if you want to do this, you got the numbers, you got the power, do it. But if you want to talk, let's talk. If you want to talk, we got to talk. They said, okay, let's see where it goes. And that's how it started.
Believe it or not, wait.
But do you think that now that you've given all this back, they've given all this back to you, you've just given them, what you voted yes for, you've given them an encyclopedia of every gun owner inside of this room for every gun that they have in a nice, pretty list. Next year, they're going to come after us, they're going to take it all, they're going to knock it on the doors. All
right, hold on. Let me go back to the bill, then I'll answer that. If we, also, the majority party, the Democratic Party, wasn't even looking at the factor as manufacturers and jobs. And then our side started talking about jobs and manufacturers in the state of Connecticut. That's what's changed in the conversation also, by us going to the table. We just sat back and said, you know what? You have carte blanche, you do what you want. You would love us because we would have voted no, but you would have 10 times more restrictions. And as far as what was your guns, that's all confidential to the Department of Public Safety. That is confidential. You can laugh now, but anybody that has a pistol permit, they already have your name and your address. You have to give them that.
I don't want to see anything happen again next year. What's going to happen?
Sir, I don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah.
One quick question, because this gentleman is patient.
But, yeah.